With me now is Gordon Chang, Gatestone Institute Senior Fellow. He's also a China analyst and the author of Plan Red, China's project to destroy America. Welcome to the show, Gordon.
Thank you so much, Nina.
Of course. So are these tariffs going to achieve the fairness around trade that the administration and Tammy Bruce just talked about? Is that fairness going to happen?
I think so. But of course, we got to wait because there are going to be negotiations with these 75 plus countries. There's going to be discussions with China, either at a high level or a mid-level. There's a lot that's going to be determined. But I think the president has a good course in the sense that he has given incentives for countries to deal with the United States. And we got to remember that everybody needs the U.S. market, the world's largest. So President Trump has a lot of cards when he discusses this with other countries.
The tariffs the U.S. implemented against China, they are now officially in effect. China has responded with a 145% tariff on Chinese goods. Do we see China increasing its tariffs even more if Trump doesn't change his tune? Because right now, they don't seem like they're backing down.
Yeah, when Beijing announced the 125% tariffs, it said it was not going to raise them beyond that level. And it doesn't really need to, because at that level, most U.S. products are going to be shut out of the Chinese market. But more important, we are seeing significant non-tariff barriers and actions being put in place over the last couple of weeks. So U.S. products aren't going to get into China anyway, whether they're at 125% or 1,250%.
Interesting. So the Trump administration is clarifying what items would be exempt from the tariff hike, saying electronics from China would only be subject to an existing 20% tariff. This move will help big tech companies, we're talking about Samsung, Apple, NVIDIA, that import products from China, but also investing billions of dollars into the U.S. over the next few years. That's exactly what the administration wants. However, earlier today, Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick says that this isn't a permanent exemption, and it will be included in semiconductor tariffs. Let's listen to that very quickly.
The president is going to come out with his policies on semiconductors and pharmaceuticals. They're going to be outside the reciprocal tariffs, and he was just making sure everyone understood that all of these products are outside the reciprocal tariffs, and they are going to have their own separate way of being considered.
So, Gordon, what could these tariffs entail?
Well, I think what we could see, for instance, is an increase in tariffs progressively on, for instance, electronics. That would give Apple and other companies incentives to move their supply chains out of China quicker than they otherwise would. You know, we'll just have to wait to see what Commerce Secretary Lutnick announces. But I think that we will see incentives for companies to move out of China.
How is this trade war going to impact the United States' relationship with China moving forward?
Well, the relationship with China was never really that good to start out with. I mean, they were saying, both sides said friendly things, but they didn't mean it. Right now, we're getting down to both leaders saying things that they really wanted to say, but didn't in the past. But we got to remember that there are irreconcilable differences between China and the United States. China's been engaging in unacceptable conduct. It's been sending fentanyl, for instance, into the U.S. deliberately as a part of the Communist Party's project, which means that it's responsible for about 70,000 deaths of Americans each year. That was something that we could not ignore. And previous presidents, including President Trump in his 45, he ignored it, but he's not ignoring it as president number 47. And good for him, because we absolutely have to do something about this.
All right, Gordon Chang, Gatestone Institute Senior Fellow. Thank you for sharing your insight on this, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your screen. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.